it's going to be one of these two players.
Yeah, one of these two. It's going to be an Indian champion no matter what. But will it be Gukesh, the world champion, or will it be Praggnanandhaa? Big breakthrough for him if he can win this one. And okay, we start with a world championship opening. Tanya, Gukesh employing this type of knight f3 c4 Reti English opening hybrid in his successful campaign against Ding. And for Pragg, I was going to say, does he take up the challenge and advance in the center? Very ambitious play by both sides in this early stages.
Wow, and for Gukesh, perhaps he got that enough time in to set up his opening ideas to really decide what he wants to get into. Will that be an advantage that he'll be able to capitalize on? Pragg, that last move, getting the bishop out to c5. David, you mentioned Reti. It's a childhood favorite of Gukesh. It's the opening that he's grown up on, so he relies on that. He did at the World Championship. He relies on that for the Tata Steel Masters title as well. Both players blitzing moves out right now. Pragg stopping the advance on the queen side, forcing now Gukesh to give up the bishop pair. That knight is headed to e4.
Yeah, the white knight wanted to jump forward, attack the black queen, which has moved now for a second time. Really interesting, Tanya, to see that our poll here from our chat on Twitch and YouTube thinking that Gukesh a very slight favourite, but almost 50-50, 53% chance that Gukesh wins. I would say that makes a lot of sense. He is the world champion after all, but Pragg has a great track record when it comes to blitz and rapid, maybe balancing things out. In terms of the opening, who do you think is the happier of the two? Gukesh here playing a black opening, but with the white pieces, therefore with an extra tempo. He's allowed Pragg space, but yeah, it looks like a real fight ahead, guaranteed.
It really does, especially with that last move. Pragg takes more space on the queen's side, stopping any pawn advances there. The bishop pair advantage is gone. Pragg still has to develop that light squared bishop. David, I think so much of it depends on the clock situation. Pragg with his speed, he's showing that he's feeling confident about the opening outcome.
Advantage for Pragg. It might not sound like too much, but this is blitz. They only gain 2-second increment after every move. So it's just this change of pace, Tanya. It's going to be about who adapts fastest, who can kind of stay quick, stay confident, stay instinctive when the clock ticks down. No time to calculate, so taking away one of Gukesh's biggest weapons, I would say. Pragg, of course, a great calculator too, but they're playing a type of opening where it's just about feel, just about improving the pieces. White's pawn about to advance now to b4, allowing en passant, which does indeed occur. And White's rook is coming. This looks a bit like what Gukesh did to defeat Ding in one of their World Championship games.
Opening up the b file, it does come at the cost of weakening that a3 pawn. David, it's bringing back memories of that World Championship game that you're talking about, and it's definitely something that Pragg has also looked at, finding ideas against the Reti, finding ideas to fight the structure. He falls back with that queen to e7 right now. The aim for black would be to try and double up on the a line to put more pressure on that a3 pawn, but will Pragg get enough time to bring the bishop out and double down on the weakness?
That is the big question. Now or never, it might be for Praggnanandhaa. Keimer game not too long ago.
Oh, and the queen steps in, attacking the black rook. It has only one square to fall back to. It starts looking very tricky. The makings of certain tactics and combinations in the air. I'm spotting back rank ideas, the d4 pawn being weak as well. David Gukesh, he's paused. He's calculating all these lines that exist. And I have to say, Praggnanandhaa, I've known him for such a long time. He's a speedster. He's a speedy Gonzalez. So I'm as surprised as you to see him behind on the clock right now against Gukesh.
Gukesh slowing down. He's gone into calculation mode, but there's not much time to calculate. The time is leveling out now. Both sides around 20 seconds. He goes for a tactic. Knight takes pawn. That was based on a counter check there. If Black had taken that knight, and look at this, the blue arrow appears. White has a strong move here, Tanya. Knight into b5. All sorts of pins, all sorts of chaos on the board.
He doesn't find it. He instead trades knight b5, would have given huge advantage to Gukesh. This is so much about nerves, about speed right now, David. It's beyond just the chess we're seeing for these two players. Can you even imagine the pressure they're feeling right now?
Oh, so much pressure. That is guaranteed. It's a level looking position, but look at the clock. Both sides at 10 seconds. It might just be decided by a blunder, especially while the queens are on the board like this. The white knight has been hanging for ages. Eventually it's captured. There's an exchange. Black's grabbed the pawn, but white is in. Look at those pieces, Tanya. White's pieces have infiltrated.
Gukesh gets the bishop to defend the pawn, but he does leave another pawn hanging on b7. c4 is weak. Is the queen side going to be completely liquidated off the board? Pragg says no. He first goes c5. He can't pick up the c4 pawn just yet. Has he made a blunder?
Rook e8 check. Deflection. Pragg blunders. He loses his rook.
Unbelievable. And we see the moves coming in the camera. They can't keep up with it. But Gukesh has just won an entire rook. He's about to win the first tiebreaker.
Wow. There we go. It is a handshake eventually, but it's a one-move blunder by Pragg in a position where he could have pretty much forced a draw. Ambition from Pragg backfiring. Gukesh takes the first win. We will break that down.